So, which makes me ask a very important question in terms of your values and beliefs, where this thinking, how has it been inspired by your father and by your mother, which you write in the book on cash flow and things like that. So, what has been the inspiration, and is this value instilled very early in your life?
Absolutely, Swami. So I still one of the memories I have, because my father was in his very early days as when he was working, and when he just started off, uh, his earnings were very small. I mean, this is India in the 1970s.
Yeah.
We were staying in a small place in Mahim, Matunga at that time, and every month he would give whatever the money which would come into my mom, and then every day she would write down how much we spent, okay, on food and whatever else, because we had to make the ends meet
Mm.
in that money that was there. So cash flow becomes very important. That's today the number one killer even for companies. Okay, you may have someone willing to pay you in the future, okay, is not important as having the money in the bank now, because all your costs are upfront.
Brilliant.
You
Yeah.
cannot tell your sabji wala or your landlord that I will pay when my next salary, when my next paycheck from my customer pays. You can't do all of that. So the importance of understanding cash flow, I think, comes in there. Number one. Second is, one of the things that my father also told me when I started off is, at that time there was no sort of venture capital. This was in the early 90s, at least not in India. Was that do not lose other people's money. Do not take on debt. Do not lose other people's money. And what he was very clear, he said, whatever you do, I don't want to hear any person say that because of your son, I lost money. He was very clear on that. He said, do whatever you want in life. Now, once that was the starting mindset, I had basically two sources of capital. I had money which I had saved from the US. And then I had to figure out how to make my business profitable very quickly. And even though my primary business was websites,
Mm.
and we tried to get some subscription business going in the beginning, I realized that I had to get a services business for the short term,
Mm.
which was building websites for brands. That was not there in my original plan. My original plan was very simple. NRIs have a need for great content, and we're going to provide that to them. But that plan sort of became a problem when I realized that all of GE employees in the US had one subscription. Everyone was sharing the password, and I had no way to control it.
Yeah.
Indians are the same worldwide, We'll economize. I mean, what Netflix is realizing now with all the
Yeah.
password sharing.
Correct.
So I think it's very important really to know how you are going to build the business right. Building a business right is basically, you may need to make short term decisions to ensure cash flows are there in the bank, because every one of your employees has to be paid. Every one of your payouts has to happen in 30 days. In countries like India, it takes 90 to 150 days to get money, and you need cash flows to support the 60 to 120-day period. How are you going to make that happen? Many times this is not taught.
Mm.
I mean, we can see all of this on a P&L, but when you have to live through this becomes very, very important. You don't pay your employees, they're going to walk away.
Correct.
So cash flow, I think, is very important. This is what I think we have to learn, or we have to even teach our kids at an early age. That living within your means becomes very important, because there are no easy sources of external capital. You can't. The banks don't give you money easily. Where else are you going to get money from?